So we are here with our recent client and now good friend Ameer. Welcome. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks.
He'll be sharing today about how he got a girlfriend very quickly, his experience with dating, why he chose to work with us. About every, twice a month, we interview with a one-on-one with one of our clients, and they get to share their experience. If you want to learn more about how we help guys like Ameer find relationships, get better at dating, overcome some of their fears, traumas around, women and all that, you can schedule a consult with us with the link down in the description. We'll have a call with you and we can help you out with that. But more on that later. So, Ameer, tell us a little bit about yourself, what your background is.
Yep, so my name's Ameer. I'm from London, obviously. I've been in Mexico City, living here since October, like full time, but I did live here back in 2022 as well. Um, Fell in love with the city like a lot of people do. And then when I came back last year in October, I've been an entrepreneur for quite a while now, a couple of years now since the pandemic, and when it came to the dating sort of thing, like I kept like pushing it back, part of that was like a lot of kind of my previous relationship was like kind of before the pandemic sort of thing, and then it was that kind of like I'm gonna make as much money as possible, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and you end up in this situation where I make and made a lot of money, and then it's like, wait, aren't the women supposed to?
What now?
Where are they? Like
That's
they
what the government tells you, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's money status, yeah.
there's, and don't get me wrong, like I think it's a both and sort of thing. Like I do think that at the same time, like it's not sustainable to sort of only just like be going after girls and not have anything else going for you,
Right?
So I kind of knew that, like, I kind of knew that, like, I wanted to like, this was a piece, like, I'd kind of solved one piece of my life,
right?
But this was a piece that I'd been pushing back, and I was pushing back past, probably because like I was just like kind of, what's the word, like not wanting to face it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, and I think a lot of people maybe fall into this trap, especially if you're an entrepreneur, and quite successful, is like, oh yeah, like, if I just keep making more money, or if I keep, then it's just like, and I definitely, to kind of talk about what Jaron was on about, there is a lot of that content. I did go down that sort of red pill route kind of content, like, especially during that period after like that, previous relationship.
Right.
And that, it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, if I just become successful, then, that's when dating would just be so easy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll never have to worry about women
statements.
again.
We catch guys doing them all the time.
And that was like one of the things when we first started working, we that was probably sometimes with coaching and consulting, because obviously I've had a lot of mentors in the past. Sometimes it's just those one or two things that unlock something,
Sure.
like breaking a mental belief. And I remember that conversation because I first started working with Jaron, and then we started working together afterwards. It was that, because it was that I was very much if I do this, but once I become fluent in Spanish, once I make X amount per month, once I have X% body fat, then I'll start dating, And I think when we started just sort of like overcoming that, that's when I think things, clicked in. Like, I would say that, like, that's probably also why my results were relatively quick, because I did have some other stuff going for me.
And you had that process built through your business ventures already.
Yep.
I think when I was working with you, you just not identified that you had already overcome those in your entrepreneurial pursuits, but you hadn't applied that to dating yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because when we met you, I mean, you're probably one of the most successful people we've met, and so from, I think, both Jared and I in the past, we would have been like, oh, if we reached where you were, everything would just happen, right? Like you said, you're looking under the couch. Where are
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Are they in the toilet? No. They're just
They were in the
not
rainy
there.
season, just
Yeah.
fall out of the sky? Or?
Yeah, right.
What made you call us in the first point?
Yeah, what was your motivation?
So I remember this sort of moment because, like I said, I came back to Mexico City in October. That's when my business really started to, like, you know, ramp up. And I remember it was February 2024, and I made an obscene amount of money that month. I don't know if I'll say how much it was. You already know how much it was. But a lot of money. Like, you know, more money than most people make in a year.
Easily,
right?
Easily, yeah. Double that.
Double or triple that, maybe. Yeah. And so I remember that moment because it was like, you know, it was like, I was like kind of like still in that mindset of like, oh yeah, like, you know, surely now they you know, like, do I, like, I don't know, send a form to the bank and they get me a girlfriend or something? I don't know, like, so.
Do I leave candy outside my door?
Yeah,
when they come?
like it was sort of like, damn, like I'm successful. I've, like, you know, made this huge milestone accomplishment, stuff like that, and I'm still unhappy. And I think it was really, you know, that kind of reflection moment where it was like, fuck, like, you know, I should be happy, you know, I should, but I'm lonely as hell, you know. And it was really that feeling of loneliness. Like, I had friends and stuff like that, obviously, but that feeling of, like, connection and intimacy and having someone was something that I, you know, hadn't had in years, and something that, like, I think a lot of guys want, you know.
At the end of the day, we all want that.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was like, I'd kind of known Jaron because he was the one mainly on YouTube at the time.
Yep.
But only, like, I think maybe I was subscribed to him and would watch a few videos here and there. But was kind of like, oh, like, you know, I need to find a coach. I kind of had to drop my ego and just went, I need to find someone. But then I was like, well, this guy seems to be actually in the city. So it's like, oh, well, and that, I'm sorry to clarify, this was around the time when I also made the decision to live here permanently. Before, I wasn't sure whether I was going to go back to London or stay in Mexico City. So when I decided I wanted to stay in Mexico City, it just made logical sense. It's like, we'll find someone that's a foreigner living in Mexico City and sort of understands the culture, the landscape, you know, all this sort of stuff. So I booked a call, and you know, as someone, you know, salespeople and entrepreneurs, we kind of make this joke like, I wouldn't book a call unless I was going to buy something. You know, I don't waste time, either mine or other people's. Yeah,
I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, you know. So it was like, I kind of knew, like, okay, this, you know, Jaron, you know, he obviously knows what he's talking about. And yeah, so we just, at that time, it was only with Jaron. And so we decided to start working together. At that time, I went back to London for a few weeks. And then we started around April time. Yeah. But then, like, we, you know, had some issues, like trying to find a photographer for my online profile. So there was a lot of, like, kind of delay and stuff like that, you know. So really, like, I think we only really started doing it properly was when, like, you came in as well, and we kind of, it was really that, I think, 2-month period from, like, May to July or something like that. That was when, like,
you really started
things started to really start to click, you know.
Because I remember that you had gotten your photos done, and you're kind of like, now what? What's the next move? Yep. And that's when we do, like, hey, I think it'd be good to start cold approach, right? So that's really when you went all in on both. You're like, I'm gonna start swiping a lot, start going out and doing approaches, and as we'll get in, you found results pretty quickly, which was good.